Hello and welcome to another Jafo Paints video. This is, I think, number 8 in our How to Get Started with Miniatures series. If you've been following along since the beginning, I hope you have, and I hope you're actually learning something. We saw how to take these 4 guys pretty much from your retailer shelf and get them to the stage that they are here. After all of the prep over the last couple of weeks, we painted up this guy from a board game. This one is a Reaper Bones figure. Last week we did a werewolf in gray tones. This week we are going to do a werewolf in white tones, just to kind of show you some different color schemes. So the first thing I'll do is, as always, I will show you what what colors I'm planning on going with today. And this may seem a little bit weird at first, but just bear with me. It'll look totally cool when we're done. I swear. Well, I don't swear, but well, actually I do. But hey, it's okay. All right. So for the base, we're going to start with Celestra Gray. We're going to ink that with Null and Oil. Then we're going to use an Ulthuan Gray dry brush. And then a Praxetti white dry brush. And with the Praxetti, we might go over 2 times or 3 times to get the white up there, but I swear it'll work and it'll make a real nice white layer. We're going to do his loincloth there again in Xandri Dust. As always, I use XV88 and some Null and Oil as our leathers. And then we got a weird combo here. If you look here, in his right hand, he has a chew toy. And his chew toy is a hand that we're going to use and paint up as kind of an old decaying flesh. So we're going to start with some Rakarth flesh. We're then going to take a shade of Druchii Violet. Once that's done, we're going to go back over with a shade of Carroburg Crimson. And then once that's finished, we'll go and re-highlight some of the flesh tones with Rakarth flesh, and then if need be, we'll touch it up with just a little bit of Pallid Witch flesh, and that should, all things considered, and you know, fingers crossed and all that, that should make it look like a gross, decaying hand. And if we want, we might throw in a little Blood for the Blood God at the end and make it look like he's all caked in blood. So the first thing that we're going to do today, I know we did this as the last thing last time, but this time we're going to take his little flat disc of a base here, and we're going to attach it to the miniature. So we've got a little bit more purchase on this guy. So we're just going to spread some glue on there. And we're going to just sink that on. While that dries, the first color that we're going to need today is our Celestra Gray. So we'll get that all prepped on our palette, and we'll be right back, guys. Okay, now that we've got this and the glue has dried a little bit, we got some Celestra Gray on our palette. I'm going to take my medium base brush, and we're just going to start slapping this all on there. Get everywhere but his loincloth, pretty much, and the hand. Don't get the hand. This is one of those times you don't want to talk to the hand. So, but I mean, as you can tell, even on camera with a little bit of darkness to the, you know, all the brightness in my room, that gray looks very white already. So trust me, it's going to look white, and it's going to look right. And I'll be right back. There we go. He's now painted, well, gray, which is going to become white, but don't worry about it. We're good. I did add 2 more colors to my palette of things that I need. Corn red, Abaddon black. That's to do his eyes. That's to do his mouth. Oh, and pink horror, as my assistant points out to me, because we're going to give him a cute little pink nose, just like his little buddy right there. See, pink nose. I don't care if dogs normally have black noses. He's got a pink one, darn it. Alright, so next one we're going to do some Xandri Dust. Xandri Dust with our small layer brush. And that is to do his loincloth. You'll notice I didn't do his hand because I realized as I'm doing it, he has a leather hand wrap or leather glove. So we'll do that in leather. So after I'm done with Xandri Dust, I will do XV88, and that'll be to do his pouches and his glove. So I'm going to get all of that going. So you can see where I'm going. I'm going to go right in here with the Xandri Dust. And of course that's going to go all the way around. And then I'm going to do leather. And the leather will go here, here, and this belt that goes around and kind of holds up his pants. So I'll be right back and I'll show you what that looks like. There we go. With that, we actually have most of the model is done. Because now comes highlighting, or shading, and then highlighting, and then we'll do all the cool detailing and stuff. So, the next step that I'm going to do, and that's why we did all of the leather, all of the cloth, and the skin all at once, is because we're going to take our medium base brush again, we're going to get our Nuln Oil, and we are just going to go to town. What that's going to do on the fur, as you can see almost immediately, is it seeps into all of the strands of hair, the cracks, the crevices that are created, and it just brings a lot of life to it. As you saw on the previous guys, when you add that to our cloth, it just brings out a lot of the definition of the cloth. I mean, look at that. You can see a lot of the model now, and this is just going to get that much better once we start dry brushing. So I'm just going to do all of this, and I will keep working, and I will let this all dry, and I'll be back when we're ready for the next step. Alright, we now have our Nuln Oil applied, and that has seriously darkened up our model. In some of the spots, it's made it look awesome. In some of the spots, it's made it look dingy and dark, and I guess the kids say dank. I don't know. I'm not a kid. I'm like 100 years old, guys. So next comes the...
about dank new lingo, it means good.
Yep.
Unlike what it actually means.
True. So the next wonderful thing to do is to start highlighting back up. So let's start with the difficult one, and it's going to be doing the cloth here. And you just want to highlight the edges of the cloth, leaving the shade where the shadow has created, where it has pooled. So on the high spots of the cloth, you want to bring that back up. On the low spots of the cloth, you just want to leave it alone. And we just kind of go around and go around, and so we go through like this. We're going to do the same thing with the XV88 and the leather. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep working on this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we go. We have our first set of highlights done. We worked with the loincloth and with the belt. We just kind of brought a lot of that up, leaving some of that shadow there. And it just kind of gives that a little bit more definition. So now we get to start with the fun / interesting / weird, I guess. We're going to switch over to our small dry brush. With the... Let's see if I can do this and show you guys actually. So here's my wet palette. You just want to get a little bit of your Celestra Gray on there, which is what we started with. And drop your camera while you're filming, because that's always important. Makes it really fun for people to watch. Yep, there we go, ruin that. Alright. You can see here. You're looking to take most of the paint off. And this is why you don't mess with your rig. You just want to get a little bit, as you can barely see it touching my skin. And we're going to highlight up his hair. And that's where we mostly want to focus on, is where all this detail is. Because we'll do some other work with the flat spots. But we're looking really to put this color back into his hair. Anything that's got texture to it is where we're looking to add this to. So we got something that looks like this. And when you get down to the bottom here where it comes close to the armor, let's call it armor, his loincloth, you just want to be a little more careful so that you're not painting that and having to repaint over it later. But you get that. You get that effect. So once we're done with that one, we're going to move on and we're going to do the same thing with a layer of Ulthuan Gray. So I'm going to get that all started. I'll come back and show you what it looks like in a minute. There we go. I've already dry brushed with the Ulthuan Gray layer over the all the textured area, and you can see that's really brightened it up. Trying to hide some of the sunlight so it doesn't look, I don't know, spotty. But what we want to do now is on the low or on the flat spots, you just want to kind of come in here with your with the Ulthuan Gray, and you want to touch up everything, leaving the shade in the lowland regions, all the just all the texture, like every other form of highlighting that we've done before. If you've been following along, this should not be uncommon to you. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll be right back and show you what it looks like. Alright, there we go. We've now applied the Ulthuan Gray to the skin, and then I did a second dry brush over after the one I showed you guys, and I did kind of like an all-over body dry brush just to kind of make it a little more uniform. The last one that we're going to go with is we're going to use a Praxetti White. Now this is what is considered from Citadel a dry compound. And let me see if I can cover up all the shade. Problem when you use natural sunlight, it really is hard to film in to show you things, especially white. So I don't know if you can see that down in there, but it is a very thick, very spongy type material versus, let's say, you know, if you look at our Ushabti bone here, it's a much thinner paint and consistency. But this works exactly like the wet versions of the paint. You're just going to get some on your brush. Get most of it off, you know, get a bunch off of the bristles. You're going to get most of it off on paper. And then you're just looking to dry brush up again. And this you want to do once again an all-over brush, but it really picks up the high spots, and it's going to just bring that white wolf look up even more and make it look that much more awesome. And once again, you always want to build these up in slight layerings. It's better to just put a little bit on than to put a ton on. If you don't have access to Praxetti White, the other one, if I can find where it's hiding in my paint box right now, I don't have it at the moment. Oh, there it is in front of me. But you could always do this with White Scar. It would get you a very similar effect. But I've got the Praxetti White with me because I've done this for a different wolf model that I've done. And you just want to keep going through. If you run out of paint, just go back and get yourself some more. And keep going, and you want to build up that layer. So I'm going to just keep doing that, and I'll be back in a minute. With that, I can tell in the lighting and on the camera, it looks like it's, you know, almost white beyond belief. But with that, after a couple of good passes of Praxetti White, we've got a very nice white alpha wolf. So, things that we need to finish. I have gotten out my Ushabti bone. What I'm going to do with that is a couple of things. There is some stitching on the back of his glove. We're going to use the Ushabti to pick the stitching out. Also going to use it to edge highlight, just like we did in the previous video, just to kind of give a little bit of life and light to the model, or to the clothing, to the cloth, and show where light would be hitting it. So any of these nice sharp edges we want to hit. Also going to touch up his teeth, which if you've been kind of heavy-handed like I was with your dry brushing, you'll have a lot of white sitting there. Sorry, my brain shut down while I was thinking what to say. So we got stitching right here on this leather glove. Looks pretty cool. We got stitching back here. And like I said, we've got a little bit of highlighting. And I know I added another color that I didn't tell you guys about, but you guys should be getting used to that watching my videos. I keep finding colors that I want to do, and so we do this. So it's just a simple one, and if you got a little bit too much white and you need to kind of go over it, you know, get yourself a clean brush, get your Xandri dust back out, and you can kind of go over that white, and that'll help cover up that highlight or that dry brushing that you did. But there we go. So that gets most of that. And then we're going to do two real quick ones. I'm going to do his eyes and his nose and his mouth, and that'll get rid of these. And then all we've got left to do is to make that hand pop. So I'm going to put black in his eyes, pink on his nose, red in his mouth. I'll be right back and show you what that looks like. With that, our werewolf is more or less done. He is a, you know, an albino-y kind of wolf. I think it looks really freaking awesome. But let's bring some life to that dead hand. Excuse me, that dead hand he's got there. So the first thing we're going to start with is some Rakarth flesh. So I'm going to get that on my palette, and I'm going to paint the entire hand in Rakarth flesh. And I'll be right back. Alright, we now have our pallid witch flesh, Rakarth flesh applied, and have given some life to this dead hand in his hand. And now it's time to add our first of two washes. We're gonna start with Druki Eye Violet, which is a purplish wash. I think what I'm gonna do though with this one is I'm gonna thin this down just a little bit. We're gonna use some Lamia Medium. So I'm going to use Lamia Medium, which is just essentially the type of water that they use when they make all of their paints. It's just has no pigment to it. It's pigmented-less paint. So we'll give it a shake. Make sure, I don't know, it's not separated for whatever reason. And we're going to take like 3 good blobs, put that on my palette. And then I'll go into my Druki Eye Violet. Again, make that sure that's a good shake and it's not all separated. And that you can take your still wet brush. We'll take one and we'll just put that in there. And that gives it a thin consistency. It's not as a thicker purple. And I think that is a perfect consistency that we're going to go, and we're just going to wash over all of this, and that's going to give it that slight bruising, that slight damaged, weathered look to it. So I'm just going to get it all there, cover the whole hand in purple, and then give it like 10 minutes to dry, because it should be a pretty thin coat, and we'll see where we're at. I'll be right back. There we go. I have applied my Druki Eye Violet mixture. In fact, I've actually applied it twice, and I'm not sure how well it's picking up on the camera, but there is a slight purple hue to it. So the next thing that we want to do is I made a mixture of 3 parts Lamia Medium to 2 parts Careburg Crimson, and we're just going to go over that again. Real light highlight of it. And that's just going to give it a more bruised look, which is what we're looking for. We're looking for that bruised, dead flesh. We're kind of going with the idea that this wolf has been running around with his snack for a while. And, you know, it's whenever he's hungry, he's got some. So we'll be back after this dries up, and I'll see if I need to add a second coat of this. I don't think I do, because I'm liking how this one's coming out. So when we come back, it will be time to re-highlight the flesh and give it that dead look. Be right back. There we go. We now have our Carenberg and our Druckii Violet, and hopefully you guys can see on the camera that it is looking all bruised up and amazing. So we are now going to go back to our Rakarth flesh, or Rakarth, or however you want to pronounce it, the base tone, and we're going to highlight up, leaving the inks where it is. So anywhere that there would be folds, joints, whatnot, what have you, you want to leave the ink showing. So we've got it looking like that. On this back side here, again, just down the fingers. And most of the back of the palm, actually. Of course, I'm painting off camera, on camera, so you guys can't see. Just want a nice thin layer. Just to give it that lifelike look. Brings back a little bit of look to it. And then the last thing you want to do is just go in with a little bit of the Pallid Witch Flesh and hit the digits just to give them a little bit of color. That gives it that I don't know, real white, paley look to it. I don't know, my brain shut down, guys. I apologize. I don't know words this morning. So you wanted to give it that pallid look there. And if you do what I do and you oversaturate, just get your brush wet. And you can remove most of that. You get yourself a clean cloth. And there you go. So we'll just go back over that one more time for you guys. Okay. Now if you really want to add some love to this and some interesting, as I back out so you guys can see our whole model here, you can always go for blood for the blood god. And you know, to be very sparing with this though, because this stuff is very thick, very, I don't know, gross. But we can just kind of hit a little bit back here. And maybe, I don't know, let's put a little bit up on his hands. And we want to make that look like it's going all the way, bleeding all the way through. There you go. Like I said, with that one, it's very much a less is more. So all we have left to do is to do up his base, and I couldn't come up with a color that I wanted to do that would be very contrastual. So I decided to just use what I've used on some of my other videos and just use Dawn Stone. So we just want to kind of pick out all of this and do all of that. I'm going to quick do up this base and I'll be right back and we'll show you what it looks like at the end. And there we go. We have our completed white werewolf, I guess, from the Wizkids pre-painted miniatures line. Remember, for the most part, you're going to see him, I don't know, I always go with it arm's length. And even if we zoom in like that, still looks pretty friggin' awesome. So one more shot before we go. Pop him off his base, and we'll show you all four of him, or all four of the friends together. And there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed all of these how to get started miniatures. We will start getting back to painting some of our regular Massive Darkness figures next week. If there is a miniature you would like to see specifically painted, please put it in the comments down below, and I will work it into my painting schedule. I think next week we'll be working on one of the minion groups for Massive Darkness, and start getting all of those done, because there's way too many of those to do. As always, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you liked what you've seen, hit that thumbs up. If you want to receive notifications, hit the bell button so that you can get notified every time I upload. I do upload a painting video every Monday at 3 p.m. And if you are still not motivated enough to do the painting on your own and you do like what you see here and you want me to do it for you, contact me at the link at the end of this video at Warhammer Painting Panda, also at warhammerpp@facebook.com. And hit me up and I can maybe do some painting for you. This has been another Jafo painting video. Thanks. Bye-bye.